Now I'm gonna get straight to it. Um, I really wasn't going to make a video today, but I'm a firm believer, a knower, and downloads, and when messages, need to be delivered. So with that being said, you know, um, sometimes I watch television, certain programs, and even silly things, to get my mind off of, a lot of, intense situations, gang stalking, etc. It's a lot that goes on in this spiritual, physical, mental, you know, war. But so anyways, I was flipping through the channel and I happened to stumble across the History Channel. And I know I spoke about this before on a different platform um, a while back, but I didn't necessarily get, I guess, too deep into it. But it's about it was the history of what they would call angels and demons. But and the question is or was, you know, um, are aliens? I mean, are angels and demons actually what they would call extraterrestrials? Aliens, and the concept of good and evil, agreeable ones, which they would say are the angels, and disagreeable ones are what they would call the fallen angels. Um, but I do believe we all fail at some point, but that's for a whole another video. And that's a very interesting topic. A lot of times we may think different entities. We may think something is a different entity by a different title or a different name, and a lot of time it's just one and the same. It's really all the same beings for the most part, depending on what we are, talking about or discussing, just with different names. And I just want to get my perspective about that. Um, to me, it makes a lot of sense that what you would call angels and even demons would be what they call extraterrestrials, aliens. Um, I do agree with that. However, I also, you know, may slightly, just a tad bit disagree, but I do believe that they are one and the same. And through ancient civilizations, they had certain ways on documenting things, and you know, back in the, all the way back when, or whatever, the Stone Age, and the um, before Christ, and when we speaking all the way back in the times where they might not have had the certain type of technology to be able to express what they saw, or to depict it of what, the way that we would depict it today. Um, and also, like when they speak of the fallen angels, the ones that bear, you know, children with the women of the earth. They seen the women, and they speak of these. Some people say that angels are not physical beings. Um, and some people say angels are physical beings, just like demons, etc. And some believe that they're interdimensional. And I know I may not be, politically correct. Um, but to me, it all makes sense. Um, I do believe that they are extraterrestrials because anytime you have uh, anything that's advanced, and if they don't come from this exact dimension or realm, then they would be labeled extraterrestrial. They would be labeled aliens. And for me, having an understanding, knowing that demons are nothing but disagreeable angels, then you have to say that they're one and the same but serving different purposes. So I think that what a lot of people in the norm of the concept of an angel and a demon, where they think that all angels are good, I disagree. And that all demons are bad, I disagree. But that's for another video as well. But once again, and like they said that the fallen angels was forbidden to even bear to have children with earthly women, which they lust for, etc., which they said they made children with them that was called the Nephilim. And a lot believe that they were giants. But it was a very interesting topic on the History Channel as well when they said that maybe they was not even giants, but they had advanced technology and they knew how to move large stone structures with advanced techniques while turning stones into like light as feathers. That's how they were able to move things, etc., in the pyramids. Also, an angel, when you want to break it down to a simple terminology, it would be messenger. Because if you know, you know. If you studied certain things, you always know when these beings came, they always have a message. And some even say that they come in human form. I must agree. I think that, when you don't have a soul or you can't comprehend certain things, then your arms are too short to box with God to understand that when you're dealing with, again, what you would label something that's extraterrestrial, that is more advanced than what we are labeled humans. And again, I will get more deep into, you know, all the whole. When I say humans, I do have an understanding that everybody that's in the human form is not all just what a human. We all here having this experience, and I believe that it's all for a message. It's all for a lesson. It's all for a purpose, And the universe communicate in numbers. And what is the other word I'm trying to look for? And synchronicities, etc. So do I believe that angels are fleshly beings? Yes. Do I believe that angels and demons could also be interdimensional, could disappear or shape shift, etc., things like that? Yes, I do. Because they have an understanding, an understanding, a higher science and a higher knowledge than what we would call the human beings on earth. But you also have to remember, as they said, as above, so below. So you just got to look at this civilization that we live in, that we call normal, and the things we do. Look at their civilizations times 10, ahead of us. So they're doing things that the average human and certain people cannot comprehend, and they will look at them as supernatural beings, etc. So yeah, I might break down the part 2, but yeah, I'm out. Triple ones to God.